Hello, hi, what's up? Welcome to Geckmail. It is a show where I, a gecko, read mail and rant to myself. It's a lonely, desolate, single-person podcast. Normally on my podcast, I talk to other people. I talk to strangers on the phone, and there's a back and forth. There's a dialogue, but here there's a monologue. And I'm just going to rant and read viewer mails. If you want to send an email, you can send it to therapygeckomail@gmail.com. I just kind of keep a rolling a bunch of emails that I check. I really like doing this version of the show. I've realized that I'm trying to have, I think, the least controversial podcast that exists. I want no hot takes. I want to talk as little as... That's what I've been enjoying about the way that I normally do my show, is that I get to talk as little as possible. I just kind of get to sit there while other people talk. And I don't know. I guess it's because I don't want to say anything. Because if you say stuff on the internet, people get mad at you and stuff. And I don't know, that's a more peaceful way to live. Not doing, I really struggle with this. Not doing anything or saying anything, ever, is definitely the most peaceful way to go. It's definitely, if you want to maximize your peace of mind, you just, throughout your life, never do or say anything to anyone ever. That's the way to do it. And so that's kind of the train that I've been on, is maybe I should just stop doing things or saying things. But then again, I don't know, what kind of life is that? That's a PR version of yourself, and you're kind of diluted down to nothing. But I don't know. I think the optimal way to live, it's probably somewhere within that. It's probably somewhere within saying stuff and not saying anything. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out what's the optimal amount of things to do and say, where you're putting yourself out there. You want to put your. This is for me. I want to put myself out there just enough so that I can meaningfully. So just enough so that I can have just meaningful enough of a life without being too vulnerable. That's all. It's probably a stupid thing to do. Don't listen to anything that I ever say. Go listen to don't listen to anything anyone else ever says either. Never listen to anything everyone says. Don't listen to this podcast. Don't listen to any other podcast. Go outside and just look at the sky and eat grilled chicken and then die. That's the final piece of advice I will ever give on this podcast. Or maybe not. Okay, all right, let's read some viewer mail, shall we? All right, this one comes from Daniel, and the subject line is urgent. I know this isn't the best way to find out, but I just wanted you to know that arch nemesis Basketball Dan has passed away on May 5th of this year. What the fuck? I am now just Dan, sometimes Daniel professionally. I love you, and I hope the memory of Basketball Dan disappears from my memory because he's dead now. Okay, I don't have time to give context to this. Let's do another one. All right. Yeah, okay. Well, no one died, I don't think. I think this guy Daniel used to be Basketball Dan, and now he's just Dan. So no one died. All right. This is from Odyssey. Subject line: I tricked my ex-friends into giving me ASMR. Hey, Geck. So this one time last year, I randomly remembered the egg that my mom used to do when I was little. What is the egg? It's where you tap on someone's kneecap a couple times with your fist, and then spread your fingers and pushed lightly down on their knee and it feels weird. So I did it to my friend and he thought it was weird. So it started this whole thing of us randomly doing it to each other, but I think we all secretly liked it and didn't want each other to know. They have since become racist, and I moved states because nobody liked me because I still hung out with them even though they were racist, and I didn't realize until they learned slurs. Okay, whoever wrote this email is probably in middle school. I have no idea what this is, and I'm going to read a different email. You know what I've noticed is that, here's another thing about Geckmail, for those of you who listen to the whole show, is that I like it. I'm thinking about starting to do it once a week because, you know, in the regular show where I'm talking to people, I think you guys can probably tell I'm a lot spicier. I'm a much spicier version of myself in Geckmail. I think it's because like I don't want to. First of all, I don't really like get off on being mean. I don't want to be like a mean guy. But even if like I wanted to, it's like when you have feedback from another human being, it influences the way that you act. So like if I'm talking to somebody on the phone and they say something and I think in my head, that's really fucking stupid that you just said that. I'll think that in my head and then I'll take a second to take that thought and push it through filter it through a more productive lens. Because I actually genuinely in my soul, I don't think just saying to this person, you're a fucking idiot, is helpful. I don't think it's helpful. So I filter it and I'm like, okay, what's a more helpful thing to say? I don't do that because I don't want to hurt their feelings. I do that because I want, if I'm having a conversation with this person, I want to be genuinely helpful in that moment. But here I'm just truly, truly, truly alone in a room. And so, saying that's fucking stupid is something I'm more likely to say. But I also don't like that because, I say and think and do so many stupid things that I don't like being judgmental. I don't know, for a lot of reasons, but one of them just being that any judgment I could make upon someone else, they could easily make on me. So who am I to sit on my podcast and call someone, say that someone is stupid? But then again, it's cathartic. It feels good. That's the problem with judgment. I genuinely think we live in a very judgmental society, and it's a problem. But we live in this judgmental society because it feels so good to call someone a fucking idiot. It really something in the central nervous system, the dopamine just gets released. But this, same thing happens when you do heroin. So I don't know. Let's keep reading emails, and I'm just gonna keep saying stuff. Okay. This is from Steven. Subject line: a question on my mind. Dear Therapy Gecko, is everything one thing? Sincerely, Steve. Okay. I was about to say, no, everything are different things. But now I'm thinking about it. Because because a group of things could be considered one thing. Like, if you have a bag of stones, the bag is one thing, but all the stones are several things. Okay, so by that logic, I'm going to say if you put everything in a bag, it would be one thing. But everything on its own is a combination of a bunch of things. So if you put it in a bag, it's one thing. Okay. This is from Mario. Subject line: I'm in love with a poly, but I'm mono. Hello, Mr. Geck. I have strong feelings for a girl that is poly. She was in an open relationship, but she ended it a couple months ago. That's when she started dating me. She told me from the beginning that she is poly, but I was really drunk and I didn't think much of it. We've been dating for 3 to 4 months. I chose to take a break from her because I was getting really overwhelmed and insecure. She says she has strong feelings for me too, but I've began to develop trust issues. I start therapy tomorrow because of this and other things. There's more to the story, but I'm trying to keep it short. What are your thoughts on this and what I should do? Best regards, Ben. P.S. Don't use my real name, just say Ben, please. All right, well. Okay, from now on, if you want me to not use your real name, email me from an account that doesn't have your real name in it, or say to use a fake name in the beginning of the email and not in the end of the email. Because if you don't, all right, what should you do? Here's the thing: is this girl being poly, this seems to be a fundamental thing about the way that this girl views her relationships and wants to live. And I chose to take a break because I was feeling really insecure. What's your feelings about poly? Because I think the idea of you forcing yourself into a polyamorous relationship just because you like this girl, I don't know if that's a good idea, because that's like a very fundamental value that is off between you two. We've been dating for 3 or 4 months, so I'm curious what those 3 to 4 months have been like. So I would say, what should you do? Oh, well, you can't ask her to not. Here's the thing: I don't think you could ask her to be monogamous with you, and I don't think you could ask yourself to be polyamorous with her. If you really, really wanted to, you could start dating other girls and see how you feel. But I'm not even getting a sense that you want to do that. So that's all I would say, is that you can't, just in the way that I would say that you can't force this girl to be monogamous, you can't force yourself to be polyamorous. And next time, if you have a fake name, put it in the top of the email, not the front. What's the chat think? Let's see. Oh, someone in the chat says, I had this exact scenario. I accepted it to begin with, but it was the worst few months of my life. We ended it eventually, and it was the best decision I made to split up. Well, there we go. Someone said, what's a poly? All right. Let's see here. This is from Georgia. Subject line is roller coasters. Hi, Geck. I met you in Manchester last year, and we had a great talk about roller coasters. Thank you for taking the time to indulge me. I wanted to share that I finally reached my dream of being a roller coaster engineer, and I design new ride systems now. That's awesome. I'm not going to lie, I've never experienced a greater existential crisis because I no longer have a goal to strive for that powers me through the burdens of life. I only ever dreamed of getting the job, but I never thought about after because I really didn't think I would get this far. My job is fucking cool, though. What do I do to find purpose again? Thanks, Georgia. This is a fascinating query. First of all, congrats on becoming a real-life roller coaster tycoon. That's awesome. This is something I'm struggling with myself. I mean, I have other goals. My goal now is to get jacked, which I don't actually like talking about on the podcast because I think you get a little hit of dopamine or whatever every time you tell someone your goals, and then that kind of makes you want to do them less. But whatever, I'm getting jacked. It's happening. Anyway, enough about me. What do I do to find purpose again? Well, don't you find purpose in doing the job? Do you not have a roller coaster that you've been dreaming up in your brain that you want to do? How can you not Like, are you like, I want to make a triple looper-doop and eventually get there? What's a roller coaster tycoon's career path look like? You open up your own roller coaster, a kid dies on one of your things, and you go bankrupt? That could be you. You could have something. I'm just saying, you will have more events happen in your life. You know? What do I do to find purpose again? Do you have any friends? Friends provide purpose. Yeah. I guess I would say that you can get into Ferris wheels. Maybe. Why don't you? Well, you design new ride systems now. Okay? So here's the thing. As a roller coaster engineer, and you're constantly making new roller coasters, isn't each roller coaster in and of itself a goal? Isn't each project present itself with a goal? Because the purpose, it's like when you get when comedians get Saturday Night Live, right? And like getting Saturday Night Live, getting the roller coaster engineer job wasn't the hard part. The hard part is now that you're in the role. How are you got to get your sketches on the air. You got to get your roller coasters in Disneyland or however the fuck that works. And so why don't you just focus on thriving within the job? Why don't you, I don't know how old you are, but why don't you see what the people you work with who are in their 50s or whatever, what are they doing? Can you ascribe to that? And then you just keep ascribing to new heights and purposes and achieving goals, and then you die, and it's great. That was really sad. I think I've been feeling existential lately, and it's bleeding into everything that I do. I'm really trying to find Georgia, I'm trying to find purpose again. It's depressing. I'm like talking to people, not on the show, but just in real life. Like, I'll talk to someone. I think I told the story already of how I was gonna ride a roller coaster and then I didn't because I was like, oh, it's just gonna be over. That happens now with people now. Like, I'll be at a bar and I'm talking to someone and I'll be like, why am I talking to you right now? It's exhausting, and I don't know if I'm never gonna see you again. Don't let any of this happen to you, Georgia. Georgia, you know what? Georgia, please, dear God, don't let yourself become existential and crazy. Find joy in the little things. Move on to Ferris wheels. Ferris wheels are good too. What's the chat say? Someone said, that's just your midlife crisis talking, Geck. Well, I'm 27, so hopefully I don't die at the age of 52. I think that math sounds right. Someone said, yeah, a bunch of people are saying that's just depression. Is that depression? Oh shit. All right, maybe I'm depressed. All right, well. Okay, well, that's fine. All right. This is from Tucker. Subject line, Lyle, I need your sage wisdom. Tucker says, Lyle, since you're such a model of men's health, are there any tips you can share for losing weight? I think listening to you has made me a better person. Thank you for being you. I hope you are truly being you. Thank you, Tucker, for asking me how to lose weight, even though I am probably about 40 pounds overweight. But I'm trying. I'm actually genuinely. Yeah. Fuck it. I'm just gonna. I said I wasn't gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it. Now. So I've been doing the Gecko for like 4.5 years. And for those 4.5 years, I was looking at a picture of myself when I first started, and I was really skinny. And over the 4.5 years that I was doing Gecko, nothing in my life mattered to me other than being a gecko on the internet, trying to be internet famous, trying to, get people to listen to my show, making sure I upload 3 clips a week, streaming and clipping and selling tickets to my tour and doing my tour and traveling all around and embracing a life of novelty and this and that and the other thing and just everything career-wise and novelty-wise mattered to me, and way more than my health. And as a result, I gained like 50 pounds, something crazy like that. And now that I've gotten to a point with this show where I'm like, if the amount of people that currently listen to this is the same amount of people that currently listen to it for as long as it exists, I'm so happy about that. And I have successfully completed 2.5 tours around the world. And so my drive for more and more and more and more and more of that is dissipating. And now my drive is like fucking counting calories and going to the gym and all that stuff. And like that's what I really care about the most right now, is doing that stuff. And tips for losing weight. I don't know. I'm fasting and exercising. That's it. That's all you do. You eat less and you go to the gym, and hopefully it makes you better. But I guess caring. Any tips you can share for losing weight? Caring. The only time I ever lost weight is when I cared about losing weight. All the other times, that's the tip on how to do anything. You can apply that to anything. Anything that you actually genuinely care about doing, you'll do. And then the stuff that you don't really care about, and your subconscious will tell you what you actually care about. You can consciously pretend like you care about certain things, but your actions throughout your life will tell you what you actually care about. And so just, I don't know, man, pay attention to what you care about. And if you give a shit about losing weight, then, eat less and move more, and then you'll lose weight. I'll let you know if it works for me. Someone said, I've lost 30 pounds in 3 months. And I eat tons and tons of low-calorie foods. Is 30 pounds in 3 months, is that healthy? I don't know. This is not the, what's the name of that, what's that guy's name? Andrew Huberman. This is not the Andrew Huberman podcast. But, I don't know. Anyway, okay. Okay, please. Okay, this person wrote, don't name me. All right, I'm going to call you. You know what? Here's what bothers me, though, is that some of these people, like, I'll get a fucking email from a guy named Brian, and he's like, please don't name me. And I'm like, you know how many Brians are in? I'm going to Google this right now. How many people named Brian are alive in the world? Okay, Google says there is not much information about how many people named Brian are alive in the world. Okay, all right, anyway, I was trying to make a point. Who cares? I'm going to read this guy's email. Okay. Hi, Geck. I've been thinking about a moral dilemma I experienced a couple years ago. I work a job that sometimes involves animals, birds, lizards, bees, and sometimes rabbits. I save them whenever I can, but most of the time they're dead before I arrive. I have saved 1 pigeon and close to 100 bees and a couple of lizards. One day I found a pigeon in shock, bleeding with a broken wing. I wasn't sure what to do. I Googled what happens to birds with broken wings or birds in shock, and I read that they almost always die. I didn't think an animal sanctuary would take a pigeon, as most people consider pigeons to be rats of the sky. I wanted to put it out of its misery, but I didn't have a lot to work with, and I couldn't leave it in the customer's backyard. I ended up taking a brick from the bed of my truck and dropping it on the pigeon's head. It broke its neck immediately, and the bird seemed to have 1 second of pain as it freaked out, but then went limp. I genuinely feel terrible, but I thought a bird with a broken wing and in shock should probably be put down. What would you have done in my situation? Am I a bad person? Cheers. Wow. Well, I don't think you're a bad person, Brian, because you're correct that most people consider pigeons the rats of the sky. And I live in New York, and if a pigeon with a broken wing was writhing on the side of a sidewalk, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and truly hundreds of people would walk by, not even noticing that pigeon. So you're at least a better person than all of those theoretical people. Shit, man. I don't know. That's a tough situation for you to be in. That's a tough situation for you to be in, because what were your other right? What were your other options? Is like an animal sanctuary, you're right, is probably not going to take a pigeon. You could have just walked away, but then the pigeon would have just suffered and died. I don't assume you know how to do surgery on a pigeon. It's probably true. Let me Google this. What happens to birds with broken wings or birds in shock? Let's see here. Birds go into shock very easily when injured and often die from shock. I'm Googling this too. That bird was fucked. That bird was very fucked. That bird was gonna die if you walked away, and there was no real way to do anything. So, yeah, you had to be the executioner. I don't know why our Lord put you in that situation where you had to put down that bird, but I don't know if I can. I even think the fact that you care this much does not make you a bad person. The fact that you care this much about whether or not you're a bad person for putting this pigeon out of your misery makes me believe that you are not a bad person, Brian. I forget if your name was Brian, but also just the fact that you were I don't know why. The fact that you were like you in all caps at the beginning of this email. You wrote, "Don't name me," as if you're not going to go to prison. I'll tell you that much. You could have on purpose killed hundreds and hundreds of pigeons, and how do animal abuse laws work in this country? There's got to be I think if you just kill a random pigeon, I don't think you can go to jail or anything bad's going to happen to you. But there's got to be a number. How many pigeons do you have to go out of your way to kill before they at least tell you to stop? You're not going to go to prison for putting this pigeon out of your misery. Let yourself go to sleep tonight, Brian. You're a fine bloke. Let's see here. Okay, this is from John. Subject line is, am I ruining my life for good or making it significantly better? What's up, Lyle? Eurofan here. My name is John. It's not my real name. You can just call me any way you want. I'm going to call you John. I'm 28, and I am in a curious situation. I've been studying to become a high school teacher for the past 6 years. Passed everything with A's, and now I'm preparing to take the national examination to work in public schools. Thing is, the exam is extremely difficult, and it normally takes 3 to 5 years to pass, and me being broke, I had to move back in with my parents. They have several issues and treat me really bad. I have to do all the chores and take care of everything while I am being verbally abused. I feel unable to prepare for the exams in this environment, and this has had a deep impact on my physical and mental health. So, wanting to get out, I discovered I could take a similar examination, but way easier, doable in 1 year, to become a train dispatcher, sell train tickets, or even become a postal worker. Do I like those jobs? not particularly, but I like that they give me the opportunity to break away from this toxicity, and I feel like I deserve it. What do you guys think? Is it worth it to give up on your professional career and abandon your family just for an easy fix? Note that the teachers get paid really well out here, and any of the jobs I mentioned are full-time, for-life jobs. This feels like a lifetime choice. I am a bit stubborn and don't usually follow advice, so don't feel pressured. Okay, I like that. Okay, hold on. Okay, here's the thing, John. You're coming to a lot of conclusions that I don't necessarily understand. There's a lot of conclusions that you're making in this email that I don't understand. So it seems as though you want to become a high school teacher, and you got to pass this exam. But you're like, okay, the path to me. Okay, so you're like, all right, let me lay out John's life and all the variables of it. John needs a job so he can make money, so he can get out of his parents' house because his parents are crazy. And John is gunning for this job that he really wants, but in order to get this job, he's got to stay for longer in his parents' apartment or whatever. And he could get a job quicker, leave your parents' house quicker, but it's not the job he wants. But John, I don't understand. Here's what I don't understand. Why don't you just, if you really are like, okay, I'll just take anything just to be able to get out of my parents' house, why don't you fucking do the postal working job or the train dispatcher job, and then on the side, study for your exam? Are you not allowed to do that? Why does you wrote in the email, you wrote, this feels like a lifetime choice. Why? That's the part I don't understand, is why you feel like this is a long-term choice. Because you're 28, you could go work as the train professor for 2 years, and meanwhile study for the exam. So the thing that I'm getting from this email that's standing out to me is I don't understand why this is a lifetime choice for you. And you say you're stubborn and you don't follow advice. So is this being a lifetime choice because of your stubbornness? Somebody in the chat said stick it out. Why don't you just... Yeah, it's okay. Why don't you just get a job that will pay you enough that you can get out of your fucking parents' house, because you clearly hate that, and then study to be a teacher on the side. You said you're a European fan. Where in Europe are you? I'm curious. Because working as a public school, high school teacher is, from all accounts, horrible. That's what people say. But I wonder I don't know if it's as horrible. Maybe I'm wondering if it's as horrible in Europe. Usually in Europe, things are just kind of a little better, but I don't know. That's what I'd say to you, John, is truly pick apart with yourself and examine why you believe this is a lifetime choice and why you refuse to view your life as a long-term thing in which you can do many things. Humans are multifaceted. They can drive trains, they can teach high school, and they can eat crackers. Okay, this is from another person who doesn't want me to say their name. I'm gonna call you Jordan. Okay, this is from Jordan. Subject line is disgruntled pizza manager. I hate my job. I want to quit, but I can't get away with the shit that I do anywhere else. I enjoy drinking at work, but that's only because they make me work long hours. I like to smoke dabs into the ovens, and the second I clock out, I immediately go buy more alcohol. IDK, I need to stop drinking. I think I solved my own problem. I've been caught drinking at work a few times, but never been fired. I left a bottle in the bathroom. LMAO. Anyways, I'm writing this to you drunk at work. I've talked to you on the phone about baby trapping. My happy and adorable dad has stopped saying I baby trapped him and now he wants another. Okay. Oh, Jordan. Oh, no. Oh, man. Alcohol is a crazy thing. I really, life is so crazy because it's so fucking difficult for so many people that we're like, let's get really fucked up so that we don't have to live in reality. And I understand the attractiveness of that. I have indulged in that before. It's nice. Getting really fucked up to avoid reality can be nice. But I don't know, Jordan. I don't know you. But if I could say anything to you, I would say that I know you cannot possibly understand it right now in your brain that is fogged up with stress and depression and fucking whatever else. Right? Whatever it is that you're using alcohol to escape from. When your brain is in a dense mental fog, it cannot possibly understand or comprehend the idea that things can change and get better. And so, I just, as an outsider observing this situation, I would say to you, Jordan, I hope that you start to... I hope that you start to find yourself worthy of a life that you like enough that you don't have to get fucked up all the time to avoid. I mean, you have a child and you have a guy who is romantically related to you in some way. You have things to live for, things that would be enjoyed better if you weren't getting fucked up all the time. So, I don't know. I don't know what the first step is to doing that, but I hope you take it. Maybe go to an OAA meeting or see a therapist. I wonder what pizza shop you work at. I like pizza. Okay. All right, this is from Skirgle. Subject line, beautiful true love. Hello, I am Skirglemeyer G. Who cares? On precisely February 10th, 2024 at 7 p.m., I looked at my longtime best friend since elementary school, leaning against a pillar, and I fell madly in love with them and realized I am a massive homosexual. It took me 8 months of thinking about that to tell them those feelings. While I did so with the intent of them surely turning me down so I could stop constantly thinking about them, they responded by informing me that they really, really, desperately wanted me to be their boyfriend once their life stopped being in a massive chaotic uproar. That was 2 months ago. I constantly think about them and my memories with them, what I want to do with them, how I miss them, and what I might do with them. All right, you don't have to get that spicy, or do, I don't care. I don't know when I might ever be able to be with them. Even when I'm focused on something else, I inevitably start thinking about my memories with them again. Is it even moral to like a person this much? Am I delusional and insane? Should I go wailing? Hashtag let me know. You're not insane. You're not insane. This is what happens when you fall in love. Is you go a little insane. You get a little. You go when you're just fucking so attracted to someone and so into them. You go delusional and you go insane and you just do stupid things and make bad decisions and you try to talk and you try to convince yourself that you're actually not delusional and you're not insane. But You are. You're not acting out of logic. Yeah, I'm no scientist, but I think it's like a drug, like infatuation, right? It's like a drug of some kind, and it causes you to you become an addict, and then you go insane. Now, here's what I don't understand. Is this person was like, I want you to be my boyfriend, but this person was basically like, I like you too. I want you to be my boyfriend, but my life is a little crazy right now. Right? I want you to be my boyfriend, but my life is a little crazy right now. And you as my boyfriend, I can't have you be my boyfriend while my life is crazy. And so you're gonna sit there and you are going to wait. You're gonna wait. Wait, and every day you look at your phone and you wait for the text, hey, my life is no longer crazy, so come be my boyfriend. But you don't know when that's going to be, Skirgle. You don't know when that's going to be. I got an idea for you, Skirgle. What if this person's life is crazy forever? As all of our lives are. What are you going to do, Skirgle? You're going to sit, wait forever? You're going to be a skeleton with a crush? I understand holding out hope, especially when this person also, especially when it's like, oh, this is a life circumstantial thing. If you had told me that this person was like, I just don't like you, but who knows, maybe I will, then I would say to to move on. Are you still allowing yourself to be available to other people, is my question? Or are you really holding out? Are you like saying, are you not pursuing other romantic endeavors because of this person? Don't do that. Sometimes that's the thing. Take solace in this, right? Sometimes genuine. By the way, this person, I know that some people might be like, oh, this person actually doesn't like Skirgle. Their life just genuinely, there's the whole concept of like, if they wanted to, they would. Which I actually like 99% believe that if someone wanted to, that they would. Like this person, when it comes to like the imbalance that occurs in romantic relationships, I think this person likes you. They don't like you enough to move their life around for you. And you clearly like them enough that you would move across the country to be with them. And that just happens in these fucking things, is that there's just, you're always going to deal with some level of inequitable investment in each other. In a beautiful, perfect world, two people meet who have exactly the same amount of investment in each other, and they have a baby, and they get married forever, and then they die. But should you go whaling? Yeah. Well, no. Why'd you go whaling? Don't kill a whale. I'm not making a joke. I think that's what you meant. Is it moral to like a person this much? That's what you said? Yeah, I don't think it's... I mean, unless if they're a child. I don't think they are. Am I delusional and insane? Those were the questions. I forget what I said earlier. I forget if I said that you were or you weren't, but you are. You are delusional and you are insane. But being delusional and insane is a natural human experience. It's a natural response to these feelings. So, you are delusional and insane, but you're not off course of the typical human experience in your delusions and your insanity. Unless if this person is not real, then that would be abnormal, and you should talk to a psychiatrist. Okay, I don't know if any of what I just said was helpful, but I'm gonna read another email. Unless if the chat has anything to say. Someone said this person's just keeping you on the sidelines. Kind of. Someone said, yeah, the my life is too crazy right now thing I don't buy. Here's what my life is too crazy right now could mean. It could just mean that this person doesn't like you. It either means this person doesn't like you or they do like you. They just don't like you enough to make time for you. Which is a hard pill to swallow, but it must be done. Alrighty. This is from Ezel. Subject line is the societal pressure of becoming something. Hey Lyle, I wanted to talk to you about this constant pressure I feel to become wildly successful and my internal debate over whether this is a feeling I was born with or something that was brainwashed into me by the hustle culture we find ourselves in. Oh, I like this. Okay. I am a 21-year-old male from Amsterdam, and lately I've been feeling a lot of pressure to become successful. Not just in a hopeful way, but also in a stressful way. On the one hand, I feel like I have to try because I really do want to build something for myself, my family, and my loved ones. I want to be proud to have built something and pat myself on the shoulder and say, I really built that. On the other hand, I feel like this is just something that was printed into my mind. I feel like, especially as a young man, Andrew Tate, Ecom Hustlers, etc., you get told that you have to become rich or you will be a forgettable loser until you die and vanish into nothingness. Would you say these feelings are internally created or externally created? Have you experienced these pressures? How do you deal with them? Would you say that this has partially influenced you into starting your podcast? Have a happy new year. Best wishes, Sala. P.S. English is not my first language, so forget any grammatical mistakes I have made. Feel free to mention my name or not. I don't care. This guy's name is... this guy has like a unique name, and he's like, I don't mention my name. I don't give a fuck. Meanwhile, all the Johns of the world are like, don't say my name. Anyway, all right. I love this email. I feel pressure right now to give a good response to this email because I really want to, because I totally get where this person is coming from, and I actually feel like I have pretty good perspective now on this issue because I've been wanting to be successful for my whole life. I mean, since I started making videos and movies and doing comedy and shit when I was like, fucking 15, and I always wanted to be successful in it. And now, 12 years later, I've experienced success in that I have this podcast that people listen to, and I go on this tour, and I know what so I kind of know what material success looks like, and I'm still on a journey with it, but I've totally began to understand that it is not the it does not solve every problem that you maybe think it would solve, and I have a new perspective on it. And so let's see, let me answer all these questions at once. Would you say these feelings are internally created or externally created? I think it's a little bit of both. I think yes, since I think some people do have like ambition and entrepreneurial spirit, genuinely within them. Maybe it's like a trait that they inherited from their family, or it's just within them, and they understand life to be a fragile thing, and they want more out of their lives than themselves. And I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be successful and wanting to, build a life that you're proud of. Right? Like the feelings that you're feeling, I don't think are bad ones. At least from the way that you've talked about them. Like this line in your email. I want to be proud to have built something for myself and pat myself on the shoulder and say I really built that. So here's what. So okay. This it has now come to me. This whole like internal versus external thing. If you want to be successful because you feel like, you know, whatever, Andrew Tate or some fucking guy on Instagram has a cool car and you want to show off to people and you want to be successful because you want other people to respect you, you will learn that other people, whether you're successful or not, don't really give that much of a fuck about you. And your family and your friends, ideally, if you have the right ones, will love you and be your friend whether or not you're successful. All of my good friends in my life right now are pretty much people I met before I became successful, and they all treat me exactly the same. Becoming successful as an internet guy I still feel all the same feelings in the universe. I still get pissed off at my friends, and my friends get pissed off at, you know, how it goes in that world. Nothing changes in that world. Your friends will not look at you any differently before or after success. And also, ultimately, like, the people who would look at you differently after being successful are not like they're not like the main people in your life will be ultimately unaffected, I believe, by this. So it's a stupid, and also having people like admire you or admire your stuff is kind of not worth anything. So that's a bad reason to want to be successful. Conversely, for me, one of the things that has been really great about having had a successful thing is that if I died tomorrow, I really could feel like I lived my life to the fullest and I tried, you know? So what you're talking about, like wanting to be successful in something because of this internal desire to have tried and to have to have built something that you're just internally proud of, I think is good. And you said, have I experienced these pressures, and would I say that this has partially influenced you into starting your own podcast? Yeah, I think when it comes to like, I think I've always like kind of been ambitious and wanted more out of my life. Those pressures, the societal pressures and the internal pressures that you're talking about, definitely influence. I think if it wasn't therapy, Gecko, it would have been something. I would have started, and I had, you know, endeavors that I was doing stand-up and making movies, and I started a little comedy club, and I was doing stuff before I did this. And if this wasn't the thing that took off, I would have kept doing things until something was successful or took off, just because, you know, that was just kind of always in me. But again, now that the thing has taken off, and now that I've had the time to kind of reflect, I've learned that really the only things that matter are like the people around you, and what you're actually doing, right? Because if you're like, oh, I'm gonna get rich by like doing real estate, you can have all the money in the world, but you're still spending your life doing real estate. Do you like real estate? You know? Then there's like, okay, well, let me make a whole bunch of money in real estate so that I can do my true passion. Or even just fucking let me get a normal ass job so I can have enough money left over to do my actual passion, which is a perfectly legitimate way to live life too. I feel like I've just been ranting for a while. I love this subject because I feel like I've had a lot of different kind of perspectives on it. But Yeah, just make sure, like, when you say you want to become something, Salah, just make sure that whatever it is that you're doing to become something, make sure that, to make sure two things of whatever it is that you're doing to become something. One, make sure that you really fucking like doing it. And then two, make sure that, you're doing it with people you really like. Okay? Because after a certain point, like, I've just learned that those are the only two things that matter. Just make sure that you really like what you're doing and that you're doing it with people that you like. And then, like, as long as you have enough money to fucking not die, you're fine. You're something right then and there. I also think the idea of, like, becoming something, like, you're something right now. You're a human being. We all we will, like this line you have in here where you're like, you have to either become rich or you will be a forgettable loser until you die and vanish into nothingness. Guess what? We're all going to be forgettable and die and vanish into nothingness. No one really cares that much about us. You could be Donald Trump and live in a period of time on the earth where everyone says your name every 2 seconds. But eventually he's gonna fucking die and be forgotten, and we're all gonna die and be forgotten. So just do whatever it is that you actually want to fucking do, and don't be obsessed with leaving a legacy. I think legacy is just stupid in that regard. So don't start from a place of what's going to make me successful. Start from a place of who do I like being around and what do I like to do? Because those are the things that are going to matter, not any kind of material success. All right, rant over. What else? What does the chat say? Someone said, kind of unfortunate for you that the thing that took off involved you painting your face green every time. Bro, there's people who dude, putting on the makeup and Gecko suit takes me way less time than, like, putting on makeup and a suit and tie, which is what a lot of people do to go to their jobs. So, someone said, developing self-worth is an internal process. It is. Developing self-worth is an internal process. I say that from, I have, I do these tours, and at every single one of my shows, I stand around and I meet everyone. I meet at all of the shows that I did. I did 123 shows over the past. I did 123 shows over the past 2 years, and at every one of those shows, I stand around in the lobby and I meet every single person until until the venue's empty. And I will have nights. I would have nights where I would literally, like, have in a single file line of people one by one telling me how much they fucking love me and how awesome I am and all this, like, stuff that you would think would be validating. But then the next day, I'm still in my own brain and I'm still like, I'm a piece of shit and I suck and no one likes me and blah, blah, blah. So there's no... I'm telling you firsthand, there's no amount of external validation that can actually have a lasting impact on your brain. It's all external. It's all internal. It's 100% internal. You have to have a rock solid foundation within you that you're something and that your life matters and that you're not a piece of shit. There's no, everything else is just is not going to be helpful for you. And how do you? And I believe that you don't get that internal rock solid belief by being successful. I think you get it by knowing that you tried. Like when you go to bed at night, knowing that you tried really hard to make an effort towards the kind of life you want to live is what actually gives you that internal validation, more so than any sort of, like, actual success with it. Oh my god, I'm being a fucking Tony Robbins guy. Alright, anyway. Alright, okay, alright. Oh god, I was talking for way too long about that shit. Let's keep going. Okay, this is from Muhammad. Subject line, drugs are cool, but don't do them. Yo, Geck, typing this from the comfort of my bed, which I'll sadly have to get up out of in order to go to work to earn money to essentially fund my drug use. LOL. I moved from the UK back home to Africa for a while, then to the Gulf region, and back here to London. Drugs are keeping me intact to some extent. Don't, and then in all caps, he wrote, don't do them. Love you, Geck. Feel free to call for further context if needed. Well, I don't... okay. Well, I hope you're okay. Someone said... Alright, let's see. Hold on. Oh, okay. This is from Diana. Subject line, just got to Korea, and now everyone is saying to leave. Alright, this email is 12 days ago, so this is when they were, like, declaring martial law or anything. What is martial law? Because I know they declared it, and then, like, an hour later, they were like, never mind. Alright. Hi, Lyle. Big fan of the show. Had a blast seeing you in Seattle earlier this year. Thank you. I have nothing really interesting going on in my life right now other than I just landed in South Korea a day ago, and now there is a lot of military and political uprising going on. Everyone back home is telling me I should fly back, but I just landed and plan to be here until March to spend time with my husband out here. Also, I haven't even had the chance to go to 7-Eleven yet and get the onigiri and snacks. You can obviously see where my priorities lie. We'll see what ends up happening, but I plan to ride it out and stay until March. Keep gecking and hope I can see you next time you go on tour. Are you still there? I guess, I don't know why I said that as if I was talking to you and not just reading an email. This person's probably fine because I think they declared martial law and then just immediately said never mind, right? Let me Google this. South Korea martial law. Okay, alright, so yes, this was 12 days ago. Yeah, okay, so they were... Oh, yeah, okay, so no, if they were still... Okay, martial law is over now. It was like 24 hours. Did you guys know that the longest declaration of martial law was in Syria from 1967 to 2011? Or maybe it was Taiwan. I don't know, I'm just looking at Wikipedia. Alright, so there we go. You can get all your snacks, and you're gonna be fine, and you don't even have to die. Or, I don't know why you would die, but... Okay. Okay, this is from Lars. Hi, Geck. My friends and I were in college, and we were playing dodgeball with this group of guys. We were having a good time goofing around and not taking it super seriously. But there was this one guy who took it very personal and started to make comments on how we weren't playing the game right because we were just goofing around. On the way home, we talked about how much of a douche canoe he was. My friend, who was an RA at the time, knew what dorm he was living in, so we decided to tape douches to his door. Later that year, my friend who was the RA started dating this guy. So when he moved out of that dorm, we still knew where he lived. So a year later, on that same night at 3 a.m., we douched his door again. We did this for 2 more years before my friend ruined it all and told him that it was us. They are still together today. Why'd you do it twice? I mean, doing it once is just like a stupid prank, but doing it twice, I don't know. I guess that's kind of funny. Let's see here. Let's do a couple more emails, shall we? Shall we do a couple more emails? How long is this episode so far? It's at least an hour. Okay, this is from Paul. The subject line is Mystics and Hermits. I have this recurring thought of moving into a cave in the mountains to spend time reading and thinking. I used to live in a pseudo-ghost town, and that experience altered my perspective on life. I lived in an old miner's cabin and spent about 3 years fixing it and repairing it to be more livable. The biggest lesson I learned out there was that the romanticized parts of history are only romantic if one does not have to live with their consequences. This experience... What does that mean? Holy shit. The romanticized parts of history are only romantic if one doesn't have to live with their consequences? What does that mean? This experience has made me very wary of trying anything new in the realm of living a hermetic or mystic lifestyle. But the thought is still circulating in my mind. Is it worth considering doing a trial run every few weeks, or should I bag the whole thought and keep on keeping on? Okay, I'm really trying to understand what this guy is saying. Okay, this guy spent 3 years in an old miner's cabin. And then he said the biggest lesson I learned was that the romanticized parts of life are only romantic if one doesn't have to live with their consequences. Okay, so this guy, I think, is saying... Okay, I think this person is saying that they made the decision to live in a miner's cabin and that they didn't like it. But why the fuck did they stay there for 3 years if they didn't like it? Why would you say it's only romantic if you don't have to live with your consequences? But why do you have to live with the consequences of going somewhere when you can just leave? I guess. I mean, you didn't move to like, you know, North Korea and get thrown in jail. You're an American, it seems. I'm gonna assume. This experience has made me very wary of trying anything new. You're wary of trying... Paul, you seem like you're wary of trying new things because you think that you have to stick it out. You ever heard of vacation? You ever heard of Airbnb, Paul? Paul, go get an Airbnb for a week. You don't have to buy and... You don't have to... We live in 2024, man. You don't have to buy a cabin and dedicate... and make financial commitments to fixing it up. Just go on Airbnb, man. And get a little cabin. In a shitty place. Alright. This is from John. The subject line is future. Howdy. My name is John, and I am 31 years old. Life has been a wild ride, and I am finding myself entering a new chapter of life. Over the past year, I have been prepping my house to sell. Everyone wants to talk about homes. Fixing up a house to sell is expensive and creates a lot of stress, all while not being able to be present for the people you want to be with. However, I am getting to the end, and in the next 2 months, I will have my house listed for sale and be able to buy a new house with my girlfriend and her 2-year-old daughter. We have been dating for 2 years and do not live together yet because my house is too small to raise a child. Marriage, kids, and building a life together has been a constant conversation since we met. It is very exciting and scary that the next phase of our relationship is about to begin, but oh man, I am so ready for it to start. If you would have asked me 5 years ago if this is where I would be, if you would have told me 5 years ago this is where I would be, I would never have believed you. A younger me would have never considered dating someone with a child. And maybe some people listening are feeling the same way. But I can promise you that taking the opportunity has filled my heart with so much love, and I have been gifted with the most beautiful future. Thanks for listening, Geck. I love that. I think that's really nice, John. Well, it's funny. Yeah, you're about 5 years older than I am. And, yeah, I think, like, I'm actually inspired reading your email because I'm trying to keep my heart and mind open to things that maybe I would have been turned off to, you know, at this current point in my life. But that's exciting. I know I talked earlier about like being in a depression, but I read an email like this and it excites me because it's like I think a lot of like my depression has come from like this theory that like, or this idea that like, you know, I've already like nothing's in my future. Like I don't see any further life experiences past this. Like I woke up at like 5 a.m. And I just had like a panic attack where I was like, oh no, life is going to be the same, is going to be this forever. And then I'm going to die, you know? But, I don't know, then I read something like this and I'm like, oh, well, here's this guy who, you know, said that 5 years later, he's experiencing something that 5 years ago he would have never sought himself to experience. So, thanks for sharing your future with us, John. Maybe it's inspiring to other people as well. Someone said, why must I piss every day? Okay. Let's read another email. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we can read a few more emails. Hey Gecko, this is from Paul. Subject line, bros before hoes. Hey Gecko, long-time listener and fan. I went through this crazy situation with one of my best friends and his girlfriend earlier this year. Long story short, I started dating his ex soon after they broke up, and it caused a huge rift between me and my friends. I'd always had a crush on her, and I fell hard for her once she started showing interest in me. She ended up dumping me too soon after. Karma is real. And I was left to deal with losing my friends and being heartbroken. It sent me into a depression for a while, and I spent a few months loathing myself and not talking to anyone. I ended up reaching out to my friend whose ex it was, and now we're better friends than ever. That's really nice. We bonded over the trauma this woman had caused both of us. Nowadays, I've forgiven myself and tried to learn and grow from the mistakes I've made. I picked up new hobbies and made new friends, and I'm doing great. BTW, I went to both your Tampa shows and had a great time. Here's a picture of us. I'm on the left. The X is between us. Oh, this is too personal that I can see this now. You know what's funny is I'm looking at a picture, and this is normally like when I'm on the phone with someone and they're talking to me about like, oh, my ex-boyfriend and this and that and the other thing. I'm just like, it makes it so much, it's like impersonal because I don't know these people. But now I'm like staring at a photo of these people who he's talking about in the story. I hope everyone's doing all right. Oh, she's holding my tail. She's holding my tail in the photo. All right, let's read another email. Okay, this is from some guy. Subject line is life. Hi, I'm M from Saudi Arabia. I've got finals next week and I'm fucking scared, bro. I'll graduate from uni in May of 2025, I guess. I'm in accounting. I always listen to your podcast while I shower every morning. It's amazing, bro. Thank you. I want to call someday, but I know I'll get super nervous. You're doing a great job, and I really enjoy your content. You're a good gecko. Best wishes. Listen, M. Listen. Let me tell you something. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to have a little bit of conviction today. Look, there are institutions around the world, throughout time, whose sole purpose is to make you think that they have control over you and your life. These are, this is like fucking like high school and college, especially when you're young and you buy into it, right? When you're young, when you're in high school, okay? The education system tries to tell you that if you do not succeed in their rigid system of if you do not pass this test, you are banned from having a successful, fulfilling, happy life. That's what they try to tell you. Is that if you do this, there's a test coming up, and if you fail the test, you're fucked forever. You cannot achieve any of your dreams. You can never help people in the way you wanted to help people. You can never be happy. You can never do any stuff. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. When in fact, M, you live in a vast, infinite universe with no rules except the ones that fucking everyone just fucking made up. Okay? So study for your test, please. Study for your test and do the best you can. And then beyond that, if you study for the test and you do the best you can, you have nothing to be scared of. Because that's all you needed to do, was study for your test, do the best you can. If you get the test back and you got an F, you don't need to freak out because you live in a vast, infinite universe with literally infinite systems and methodologies for you to become the happy, successful person that you desire to become. Doesn't necessarily have to be within the structure of this education system. I do genuinely believe all of that. So take the pressure off a little bit, but study and do your fucking work. All right. What's going on in Saudi Arabia? Is Saudi Arabia chill? Someone said, how do you expect to be taken seriously when you're shirtless? I don't expect to be taken seriously at all. I actively would like to not be taken seriously. Okay. Subject line, how a transgender MILF hookup saved my relationship. Howdy, please call me Worm. It's a bit of a long story, but I'll try to keep it brief. I'm in my 20s, kind of asexual, and currently unmedicated. Over the summer, I went cold turkey on my meds because I ran out of them before I received my next ones. I became sort of agitated and emotional during withdrawals, and I was having some issues with my partner. I had been thinking of this before, and we discussed it, but I wanted to try hooking up with someone simply because I hadn't done it before. And since my partner is also asexual, they were totally supportive of this, which was great. I found a cool trans lady on the web, I like that they called it the web, and set up a date with her. She was extremely nice and accommodating. We smoked a lot of weed and did the deed. I had a great time, but after this experience, I had to have a difficult conversation with my partner about where our relationship was going. Fast forward about a week, we took edibles and watched Rocky Horror Picture Show. Pretty much fixed most of our problems. Fast forward another couple weeks, we're at my partner's parents' house having sex for the first time. It was swag. We're doing great now, better than we were probably before this happened. Love you, Lyle. Keep gecking. Okay, so you're basically what you're saying is that you were asexual and then you tried it and you were like, oh, this is actually pretty nice. That's kind of interesting. I get this is like I'm not good at metaphors, but whatever. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I guess is that a thing? Like you're just asexual, but you never. Maybe if you're, I guess is that how many? I do wonder that with like asexual people. Like how many are there? Like what's the makeup between asexual people who are like I just never had any interest versus tried it, not for me, asexual people. I do wonder. But I don't know. I guess that's why you wrote kinda asexual, because you were not asexual enough that you were like, let's give sex a try. And now you're having sex and smoking weed, and you are going to probably go to hell because of that. But at least you'll have fun on the way over there. Good for you, Worm. Good for you. Okay, let's see. This is from Killin. When I'm upset, I'll buy a whole mini tub of frosting and eat it over the span of the week. Okay, before I finish this email, one of the luxuries that I indulge in from time to time, I actually got this from my sister, is I will buy a tub of icing, like vanilla icing or even chocolate icing. I will buy pretzel sticks and I will dip the pretzel sticks in the icing, and it's awesome. It's great. Don't do it. It will make your life worse. Okay, anyway. When I'm upset, I'll buy a whole mini tub of frosting and eat it over the span of a week. One time I got Halloween frosting, and when I ate it, my shit would come out blue, yet I still kept eating the frosting because I have free will, so fuck everyone, I'll eat what I want. My shit kept coming out blue until after like 2 weeks. I'd like to assume I look like a Smurf on the inside. Surprisingly, I don't have diabetes. I don't know how, but it's okay. I don't want diabetes. Brother Killen, I'm with you. I don't, I heard, I'm a Stavros Halkias fan, and I heard him say on a podcast something like, he said something like, if I don't have diabetes, I don't know what it's gonna take. And I fucking identified with that so much, because I really do feel like if I don't have diabetes, what the fuck is it gonna take? Because I have done that. I've been on a fucking tear before of sweets and candy and sugar and all that shit. And I don't know. I'm trying to eat less of it, but we'll see if I ever get diabetes. What a way to end this podcast. That was a little ominous. Maybe that wasn't the best way to end this podcast, but it's gonna have to be. Well, that was it. That was Geckmail. That's the end of reading mails. I think this was I think this was good. I ranted a lot. You ever talk for so long that you're like, what the fuck did I just say? You just get when you talk for this long, you just get in a trance. You don't think too much about what you're saying. You just expel. These podcasts are really just like an hour and a half of me challenging myself to expel words out of my mouth for as long as I feel like I can. And I am delighted that people seem to enjoy it. Because for me, it's an exercise in expelling words out of my mouth. And but I think it's good to do that exercise. See if you can expel words out of your mouth. Like, I'm doing it right now. I'm just talking. There's no substance to anything I'm saying right now. Or maybe there is. Okay. All right. Does anyone in the chat have any questions before we go? Someone said, I like to cover myself in sugar and get off to ants licking and biting me. All right, that's it. That's the end of the podcast. Thank you for listening. Geck bless you, and have a good rest of your entire life and your entire day. I don't know what you're doing while you're listening to this podcast, but I don't know. Go outside. Just go outside. Don't look at your phone. Please stop looking at your phone. I know you're probably listening to this on a phone, but now that this is over, just put your phone in your house or something and go outside without it and just walk around and keep doing that and never look at your phone ever again. Because it's bad. The internet is bad. All right. Thank you. Bye.